You give you credit how much?
Can I just say, I was just giving you credit. Can I share that? You have been one Muslim who very openly and clearly spoken out against extremism.
What I was saying, I give you credit, but when it comes down to it, you didn't give him credit on the day.
He's talking about one interview.
Yeah.
Why are you watching me in the pub?
You know what? I've never watched the full video.
How do you know I didn't say it at the end then? If you didn't watch the full video?
No. I've never watched the full video other than that one.
I'll be honest.
Other than that one, and I was like, hang on, he knows this.
Well, I've said it now in public and on camera.
Hang on, we'll get this one. We'll get one. 3.
I give all credit to
1.
Oh, come
Go
on. Ready? Lights, camera, action.
Yeah.
I give full and absolute credit to Shamsi for being one person that has very openly and outwardly called out the extremists.
And
the extremists that have come to Speaker's Corner, because there are many other very public Dawah speakers that have not done that. So I absolutely give full credit to Shamsi.
And Tommy Robinson as well?
About what?
Extremism.
Personally?
Yeah, personally.
I don't believe he is.
Can I just give you an example? He went to Southall, and
he's never been to Southall.
No, sorry. Bradford, sorry. That's gonna sound bad. Yeah. So sorry, Bradford, I think it was. Bradford. No, I'll give you 2. He went to
Manchester, wasn't it? I think I know what you're going to say.
I'll give you one. Yeah.
Street and
yes.
Houses
So go on, say that again. Go on, you tell me now.
So I think it was in a Manchester area somewhere. It might be, I forget precisely where.
Yeah.
Somewhere
A predominantly Muslim area.
And there'd been, at that point in time, I think there'd been a number of things that had come to light where there was a specific community in a specific area where they'd had some pretty dodgy, dangerous, evil extremists.
Stuff.
And he was doing a piece to camera, and he said something along the lines of, "These houses have enemy combatants in them." And he was talking after that specific scenario where what we just described.
But we know those houses, literally those houses, there's women, there's children, there's clearly non-combatants in there.
Listen, I agree with the sentiment of a lot of what Tommy has done and said over the years. Doesn't mean I agree with every single word or every single style or method that he's used.
But imagine,
because that would be dumb.
Imagine
one person should hero worship someone,
but you know
and everything that they do.
But this rhetoric can also used by people that have the same agenda as ISIS. Hang on. There's people that say, well, I don't agree with what ISIS do, but I share their support for certain things. Okay, so this is very dangerous. Now, when you're not well, I can say, well, ISIS, they say that Bashar al-Assad is evil, what he's doing, and that's the kind of the mentality that they get the youth with. Look what they're doing to your brothers, and and it's the same on the other side. We see it on the right as well. Look what they're doing to our young white girls. Look what they're doing, and it's the same rhetoric. And this rhetoric leads in one direction. Extremism. Just another one. Sorry. Tommy Robinson went to Tower Hamlets dressed as a rabbi. Yeah, he came up just as a rabbi, and he said, "If there's one."
Do you know why he's dressed as a rabbi?
I don't know. Let me just finish.
Because he wasn't allowed in Tower Hamlets at
that's
that
the
point,
point.
and he went under disguise.
Yeah, that's
to get
fair
in.
enough. But he said, if there's one more attack in this country, which obviously we're quite on record vocal against any kind of Muslim terrorism or any terrorism in general, okay. He said if there's one more attack, Muslims up and down the country would feel the brunt of that. And we have members up and down the country. Now that implies, dog whistle politics, that implies that if there's another attack, all Muslims, indiscriminately, Muslims would feel the brunt of that. Now I don't put kind of right-wing extremism and label all Christians or all white Anglo-Saxon Protestants in the same.
Well, far-right people don't necessarily only in those categories.
Well, the ones according to the figures now. Let's look at the figures. Most of it is.
I'm not sure if there have been any statistics of what the ethnicity of far-right people.
He just showed you it's right-wing politics.
No, that was about people that have been convicted for terrorism.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about.
And it measured their ethnicity.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking
about. They either don't measure or refuse to release any data for religious faith for any crime.
Yeah, but that's what we're talking about.
Which is part of the problem with the sex grooming.
No, well, it's clearly attributed to Islam when it's a sex grooming.
Anyway, can I make one point in response?
Just on that. What do you think of that?
That precise statement I don't agree with, and it wasn't a good thing to say.
Do you think it's a bit extreme?
It wasn't a sensible thing to say.
Muslims.
It was said in a moment of anger.
It's not sensible.
I would hope I would never say that myself.
Do you think what Solomon would say if someone said, well, it's just not is it Sulaiman and the other ones and the Anjam Chowdhury is not sensible?
Well, that's obvious.
That's an understatement, isn't it?
Yes.
Exactly. So when you say that Tommy Robinson,
but again, you
sensible,
cannot compare the two of those two. In my view, you cannot compare those two individuals.
What's the end result? What's the end result of that
Robinson,
speech?
Right from the start of the early days of the EDL, he made it very, very clear, this is not for racists.
We need to admit it. The fact...
I admit there's racists in the EDL.
We need to...
Okay, so what have I ever said that's racist?
The enemy are here. Mo Farah. The first time I've heard Mo Farah come out, he said he's made to feel like an alien. No, Mo. It's because the people from your home country, Somalia, are backward barbarians.
This is not for Nazis. He spent years keeping the Nazis out because they wanted to take advantage of his movement.
But he also wouldn't
from day one, the EDL's placard said black and white unite.
Yeah.
He made it clear right from the start it wasn't anything to do with race whatsoever. He made that very clear. He also made it clear from the start and throughout his times that he never encouraged violence and that he did the opposite, that he discouraged violence. He said, idiots that go and pull a hijab off a Muslim woman are and they do harm.
Have you ever heard Suleiman promote violence? These people are very smart with their words, yeah? Hang on, no, not at all. What we're saying is that when we can smell we call it out. When we smell it. Yes, when we can smell it. Why? Because so when Tommy Robinson says we're not a violent party, but yeah, every protest that happens is violent. Hang on, when Tommy Robinson, hang on. When Tommy Robinson himself said that these people behind me are enemy combatants.
The EDL existed for about 10 years.
Let me finish.
They had almost monthly demos, if not more frequently.
Let me finish.
The statement that
why do you have to cut me to make your point?
Is incorrect.
Why do you have to make your?
Because you're saying something is incorrect.
Then correct me afterwards.
I find it difficult not to jump in and point
that out.
Yeah,
that's wrong. You're a gentleman. You can correct me afterwards, yeah? You can correct me afterwards. So we know that the leader himself, Tommy Robinson, is on record as saying, as referring to civilians with
refer to civilians.
So those people behind him were enemy combatants?
Steve, it's really looking
like...
it's bad for you, Steve.
I've already said it wasn't a choice of words that I would say.
You sound like Suleiman. You sound like Suleiman. Don't say that. Don't say that. You know we're not. We're just saying...
Why are you doing that?
No. We're saying you're both talking because you're talking the talk, but you're dancing around it. The end result...
Can I make one point now?
Last point. No, I haven't. You cut me every time. Last point is that what's the end result of this speech? When Tommy Robinson says that Muslims up and down the country would feel the brunt of this, there's one more attack. The end result of that is that people would take violence.
What was the end result? Was the end result?
Violent attacks against Muslim women went up exponentially. Yeah? And you can't deny this.
Where's the evidence for that? That's Tell Mama statistics, the vast majority of which are hurty words on Twitter.
You never said Tell Mama.
Look, I never said Tell Mama for a start.
So where's the source of evidence that attacks on Muslim women rocketed?
TV news channels.
I don't have them in my pocket. I don't have them.
Where are the statistics?
Okay, you know what? Point granted. You're a tangent. You want to get on that one. You want to get on that one. But look.
Said about Brexit.
That's fine. That's fine. But as a Muslim, I'm telling you, on the ground, we feel it. I'll tell you this. I used to go to QPR. You know QPR?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I used to go to QPR, and I know some of the people down there.
You don't go anymore?
No, I don't go anymore. I'm not welcome. Okay. Now.
Really?
Yeah, really. Now, I'll tell you this. One of the people that came here years ago to the park, the Muslims were praying over there. As they were praying, he pulled out a flag. This was before the cameras, by the way. He pulled out a flag and he said, pray to this, you effing CUNTs, whatever, yeah? And then... fair enough. No, fair enough. But then, fair enough. But you jumped on them praying. They came before they knew who was praying. They came for a fight, yeah? Now, one of them, and watch this, and if you listen to the full story without jumping in, you would hear it. One of them that knows me from my area...
a long time. You said you were
I'll finish there then. If you don't want to hear it, I'll finish there. So what he said to me, he knows me from my area. Yeah, remember I'm saying West London, I won't say too much, yeah? And he said to me, do you know what? Go now, because we've already called the police. Yeah, we've called the police and said we've been attacked by Muslims. What do? They came over and tried to attack Muslims. Me and one other brother, we're stopping everybody, and he's come up to me and said this. One person gets punched, they tried to fight other people, but alhamdulillah, we've managed to split up. So when you say, and they're EDO, They've got the EDL. Well, hang on.
So how long ago was this?
I must be a mug then, innit?
Approximately, how long ago?
This was years ago. This was years ago.
5 years.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe even more. Maybe even more.
I will say is that some of, I'm not exactly anti-Tommy. I think he does have a point in the sort of campaigns that he had.
Going to be my response.
However, there are some of the people that do follow him are quite aggressive. I've seen that. I've seen that firsthand.
Yeah, but him himself. Look at his words. Look at his words on camera. His words. It's not just him talking behind cameras with his mates. He's actually making these public domain knowledge. So he's saying that these people, these Muslims here, they are they're combatants.
No, he doesn't actually say that. So the one thing I would defend Tommy, I would defend Tommy on this one point.
Do you know what I'm referring to?
He talks about Islam. He never talks about Muslims.
Do you know what I'm referring to?
Do you
want to tell him, Steve?
There's a difference.
He doesn't know what I'm talking about, Steve. Maybe you should tell him, Steve. Go on.
Well, no, you can tell me. Sorry.
No, Steve will tell you. Steve will tell you. Steve knows it better.
Is it now
Go on,
my
Steve.
response?
Your time. Go on.
10 minutes.
Tell him first
I
and
now
take your
have
time.
10 minutes.
Tell him
Are you
first.
finished?
Yeah, tell
Are
him
you
first and
finished?
take your time. Yeah, go
Tell
on.
me, Steve, please.
There is an absolute obsession with Tommy Robinson.
Tell him first, Steve. Come on.
You can't. He's my leader.
He's your spiritual guru.
There is a spiritual guru. There is an absolute obsession, which tells me one thing. He clearly had a very, very big impact on people.
And a lot of it was misinformation.
To be honest, he's done in recent times. Yeah. At Speaker's Corner, week in, week out. Tommy Robinson.
Not really.
So first of all, a bit of an obsession with it.
No, not really. I've never spoke to you about it once.
Tommy Robinson led the EDL for what, 9-10 years or something, and that came to an end a number of years ago. Yet still, it's all Tommy Robinson EDL. Tommy Robinson on EDL. It's had nothing to do with the EDL. I'm not even sure whether the EDL even exists today, but certainly he's got nothing to do with it. And the reason he's got nothing to do with it is he got fed up fighting the fascists and the Nazis and the racists who wanted to use his base, and he was fighting them from day one because they were trying their best. Because he did attract, the EDL did attract knuckle dragging through and through outright fascist, racist Nazis.
How did they do that? How did they do that?
That does not make him a knuckle dragging fascist far right racist.
How did they do that?
I don't believe he is at all. Look, they're a Are you jumping in or are you letting me?
I'm giving you old medicine, mate.
Yeah, wrong to make it right.
Yeah, with you definitely.
So just like some people do with Brexit, they say, look, there's a racist that supports Brexit, therefore Brexit is a racist subject. It is. Just because a racist happens to agree with something that I agree with, or I do, or I vote for, does not make me, or the subject I'm voting for, racist or far right. That is guilt by association, and I'm sorry, I think that was pretty crap, pathetic, rubbish thing to do. Just because that man agrees with that man on that subject, it makes them the same through and through. It does not. Just because Tommy Robinson and the EDL
Remember this point.
Racist, but you're going to let me go.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to let you. I'm giving you the rope, mate.
Him a racist.
I give you enough rope.
And you tried to make this point that it's a dog whistle, and what he's doing, he opens up the door to attacks, etc., etc.
Of
Then
course.
presumably, so does Shamsi. Which we were both. This whole conversation started on me giving Shamsi credit for calling out the extremists.
On both sides.
How is that a different argument to say, oh, well, Shamsi's calling out the Muslim extremists that have come to Speaker's Corner? That's a dog whistle to Islamophobia.
No,
that's a dog whistle to racism. How is it any different?
I'll tell you.
Tommy Robinson was talking the truth. The government, the media,
Calm down,
the
I'll tell you.
authorities have finally woken up to the fact that what Tommy...
2 points.
Imagine what's his name?
Majid
Nawaz. The entire what's the guy, the Muslim Pakistani guy with glasses that's involved? Was he CPS? The head of the CPS was he? I forget his name now. The entire world, the entire country, state authorities have now woken up to what Tommy Robinson was talking about 10 years ago.
We were talking about it before that as well.
Years ago.
And we were talking about it before that.
So he wasn't lying. He was talking what is now widely accepted
Steve,
as fact.
I'll give you a fair go now.
So he's a liar.
I'll give you a fair go.
I've had a fraction of the time that you had.
Sorry.
I've had an absolute fraction. You've
That's
got
life.
no concept
That's
of
life.
time. Well, no, you're
That's
not.
life.
You're not controlling the argument.
Look
so
at
I'll
this.
just carry on talking.
I'll let you talk. I'll let you talk. But let me address 2 points.
No, this entire
Go on, I'll let you finish. Go on.
lie of guilt by association, because there's a far right racist knuckle dragger that's
Yeah.
attracted to
Yeah.
that cause makes that cause racist.
Yeah.
That is
Sounds
is
like
rubbish.
everything you said.
And
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
as I said earlier, there are some people that hero worship Tommy
Mm-hmm.
Robinson. There are some people that worship the ground that Tommy Robinson walks on. There are some people that think Tommy Robinson can do no wrong.
Okay.
I am not one of those people.
Okay, so you'll call it out, yeah?
Yes, as I have.
Okay.
I said those two examples that you gave. Now, do you want me to explain one of the examples? It's the example that people always cite here.
Yeah, yeah.
When he was standing
Yeah.
out in a certain community in an area of Manchester, I forget precisely where there had been some radical
Evil
terrorist
stuff, yeah, yeah, yeah.
identified. He did a piece to camera where he said these houses have enemy combatants in them.
Yeah.
I said to you earlier,
What
and that
was
they
the word he
always
used?
cite of
What was
all
the word
the
he used?
thousands of quotes
Huh?
that Tommy Robinson
No,
gave.
he used
they
a word for it.
always
That was
use
just,
they always use that one quote.
What did you describe
I've
that
already
word
said
was?
to you, enemy combatants.
No. What did you describe? You said that was a bit.
I said I wouldn't choose those words.
Like a wrong choice of words.
Yes.
That's-
Not
no.
the enemy combatants, because he was right. There were some people in those houses, as we know,
Wow.
who were enemy combatants.
Wow.
But he said it in
Wow.
a way.
Wow.
Well, do you not agree with that?
Look at this.
Do you
Look
not
at this.
agree with
Look at
that?
this. Look at this.
Do you
look at
don't think
this.
there were any enemy combatants?
If you're gonna come,
do you think there are enemy combatants?
We're talking about people's blood. Yeah. You just made 2 points. Allow me to address them. Yeah. One of them, you said he's not racist. You know, a person that drives a taxi.
See, I'm now giving you some chance.
Thank
to
you,
respond.
thank you
I
very
should have
much.
carried on ranting.
Yeah,
like you
because
did.
I'm gonna cut your flow now.
It's
Yeah.
all cutting, isn't it? It's all about cutting.
No, come on, we're not.
I know,
Listen,
I know,
listen,
I was
listen.
joking.
So,
down,
Tommy Robinson himself,
calm down.
what does he call a taxi driver? You know, 4 wheels drives a taxi. Ain't you seen that one? He calls him a
No, what's
packy.
that
He
one?
calls him a packy. Is a packy racist terminology? You said he's not racist.
Why is, why is it that people from Pakistan can use the word Paki but nobody else can?
Listen, that's a whole different conversation.
I was just wondering.
Is it?
Have I not
Hang on, hang on,
just
hang on,
seconds
hang on,
ago
hang on.
explained to you? I do not hero worship him. I
That's
do
fine.
not
That's
say
fine.
he can do no
But don't
wrong.
say he's not racist if he calls people
He's not
packies.
racist.
So
He's not
is it
racist.
okay to call people packies?
Well, Saeed of what's the channel of Saeed that comes
Yeah,
there?
yeah.
He's on film using vile
let
racist
me go on
words.
record as saying that Islam is free from that and the Muslims must
Well,
disassociate.
Saeed isn't.
Well,
I didn't see Saeed being castigated
no,
by
but
the Muslim
our
population.
stance
at
is
Speaker's
clear.
Corner.
I'm on record now. What he said is wrong. If he said any racist language, it is wrong. It is prohibited for us as Muslims based upon our want to get closer to God. We hate racism. When I've said it there now. I'll put it out there. When Tommy Robinson calls a taxi driver a packy, is that not racist?
I'm not aware of that quote.
There you go. There you go. There you go. That's the first one. That's the first one.
Do you guys spend watching Tommy Robinson? I think you spend longer than I do.
I swear to God. Don't flatter yourself. No. Steve.
In the last week, how many hours of Tommy Robinson have you watched?
Steve, don't flatter yourself. Don't flatter yourself. I don't watch you. I don't watch Tommy Robinson.
They all say that, and then they say,
I'll have to
I
swear to
saw
God.
you say last
No.
week.
Wait. Now.
Shamsi,
Nah,
you
come
finished
on, man.
20 minutes ago.
Come on. Listen. So listen. So that's the first one. You said he's not
I do
racist.
appreciate senses of humour.
So that's the
I
first one.
don't believe he is racist.
So that's the
no.
first one. To use terminology like packy, that's not racist. If he said it, if he said it, is it racist?
Is it racist or not?
Do you think just the mentioning of that word? So
That's fine.
you just said it yourself. You just said it the word yourself.
Yeah, but I'm not using it as a.
So context is important.
Of course, absolutely.
But not for him.
But when you're phoning a cab,
But
what's the
not for
context?
him.
What's the context when you're phoning a cab? Come on, Steve. Look at the second one. The second one, you said he doesn't promote violence.
Yes.
I said to you already what he said in Tower Hamlets when he came dressed as a rabbi and said, if there's one more attack, and by the way, we're on record again for the 100th time.
Stop playing for the camera.
I have to because this
Why?
is
This
what it
is
is.
live.
You have to-
This is real life.
No, because when we
How many bloody look? 1, 2, 3,
no.
4.
Don't divert.
You smashed up his microphone.
Don't divert because when you said why are you playing for
You
the
haven't got Abu
cameras,
Kassim's microphone on, have you? No, he's gone, isn't
yeah,
he? So.
that's a cheap shot because you know we're not
It was
with him.
awful though, wasn't
Listen,
it?
of course.
Can we get
listen,
on to that
listen,
bloody
listen,
subject? That's
listen,
what we
listen,
started
listen,
on.
listen,
That's what
listen,
we started
listen.
on.
You said play for the cameras. We said we have to put it. I'm saying I have to put it out there on the camera. Yeah. Oh, come on. So look. You said we're playing for the cameras, but I said we have to be out there.
1, 2,
Listen,
3, 4,
Steve, it's getting hot in here.
I'm
On
very
a cold
popular,
day,
aren't
it's
I?
getting hot for
Very
you.
popular.
Is that why you have to cut me? Look at this, Steve.
You know, I'd be
Let me
happy for
finish.
you and me to walk over there on our own and have
Initially,
that
that's what I wanted.
conversation.
Initially, that's what I wanted. Now, just
Should we do it now?
I don't mind if you want to go. I swear to God. Honestly. No. Listen. Steve. Why we put it out on record is so when it comes down to it and people ask, do Muslims speak against it? We can
Speak
say
against what?
Terrorism, extremism. So
Why did
hang
Paul
on-
Williams
no,
get castigated for doing it?
Steve.
Why did
Steve,
Paul Williams
Steve,
get...
Are you diverting?
No!
Are you diverting?
I'm
Let me finish the
pointing out
point,
the
and I'll address it,
insincerity.
and I'll address it,
I'm talking
and I'll address
about
it,
the
and I'll address it, and I'll address it. Yeah. Why we put it out on camera, Steve? Why we put it out on camera is so when it comes down to it, and people are asked, maybe they're in a pub in London Bridge, maybe they're asked, do Muslims condemn it? So that somebody with a bit of backbone can say, you know what, they do. And they don't crumble when it comes down to it.
So why did Paul Williams get
Why did
treated
you
the
not
way
say it?
he's-
Why did you not say that there are Muslims when you know they were?
things I didn't say.
Yeah, you said
How long was
your
that?
mate
How
was
long
there.
was it?
Your
How
mate
long
was there
was it?
saying there's
How
no. We
long
never
was
heard
it?
any Muslim. This is the same rhetoric that gets these knuckleheads, as you call them, to join EDL. You said there's no
Doesn't
Muslim.
exist.
There's no.
They now join Patriotic Alternative.
Can't let
That's
me
where they
finish.
go now.
You know what?
Well, then
I
get
think it's
to
clear.
date.
I
Get
think
to
it's clear.
date.
I
Get
think
to
it's
date
clear.
with the reality of far-right fascism.
Because we can't have a goldfish
It's
mentality.
not the EDL, it's the Patriotic
I'm
Alternative.
gonna slow it down. You can go at your own pace. Now we can't have a goldfish
Do you not
mentality.
keep up with my pace?
No, you're too fast. We can't have a goldfish mentality. We can't say we have to disassociate ourselves from what happened. This was how many? This was a few months ago, Steve. When you stood next to your man in the pub.
My man.
Whatever.
In
the boozer with your man, with your friend, and he said. We never hear Muslims speaking out against this, and you were there nodding like that. Yeah, it's true.
Even though you know,
were watching me closely,
and
weren't you?
I swear to God, Steve, God's my witness. I've never watched you in a full video, and that was the only one I watched because I thought he
That
might.
good one?
Because Paul, I speak to Paul Williams. Paul Williams,
Good, because
yeah.
a lot of Muslims don't.
That's another subject, but I do.
Should we go
yeah, that's another subject, but I do. I'm putting it on record.
Good,
But
good.
listen, but look at this.
You're going up in my estimation.
Listen, just stick to the
I
point.
wasn't saying you were low. But
Listen to my point. He showed me where you've already tweeted that. Hang on, I commend Shamsi. Now he showed me this. I'm doing my own thing, but he showed me this. This is
looking at
this
my
is-
tweets now.
No, he showed me this. Did you not
Yeah,
hear it?
via
Catch
Paul.
up. Via Paul, yes.
Yeah.
So now I thought, all right, that's commendable. He said it on record. Now, surely he's going to mention it in this live stream, and this is the only one I've ever watched of you.
I'm so sorry.
Now
I
you
will
didn't.
apologise.
Now you didn't. Now you didn't.
I'm not in need of that.
Now we don't. We're not in need of. We're not in need of it.
Give him a
I'm not
cuddle,
in need of
Steve.
that. Calm down.
Because
Yeah.
you are the exception. Well, there's another one now.
Look,
You were the exception.
Yeah.
You were the exception, and you were the good
You
exception.
can ask
and
Paul.
I should have mentioned it.
Yeah.
So next time
Yeah.
I'm in the pub with Richard Inman, I'll mention it.
Yeah,
I'm not in need of that. All you have to do
Is be
utilize your
consistent
platform,
and be
be
consistent.
It wasn't
Be
my plan.
consistent.
It wasn't my plan.
Be consistent.
It wasn't my plan.
Utilize your
But also, I want to say
priorities.
something.
Yes.
I
Be
want Steve
consistent.
mention, yeah, there's a time, even I made a video against Tommy Robinson. He was in one place, yeah, he stopped a girl, Muslim
I
girl,
knew
yeah.
you'd hit 10.
Hear me out, please, thank you. So he stopped this young girl, and he noticed that this young girl, she's not well educated about Islam. So he told her there's a verse in the Quran. And these verse in the Quran talking about those who spread the mischief in the land, about the highway robbers.
Yeah.
And he told her that Ibn Kathir said that this verse speak about the non-Muslim, that you should cut off their hands and their legs.
That's a lie.
Even though Ibn Kathir never mentioned that, and even to show you how
he's
ignorant. Hear me out, Steve. Hear me out.
He
To
said
show
you're
you-
a liar.
No, he said he's a liar. This is what he said. Tommy Robinson is a
Tommy
liar.
Robinson's lying.
I
Ibn
knew I'd get
Kathir.
10 out of it.
Listen, be serious, be honest, you know. It's a matter of serious, you know.
Yeah.
Seriously, man.
People get attacked for this.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, so what he did, he said Ibn Kathir is a Saudi scholar, even though Ibn Kathir came way before Saudi state, 700
Even
years
existed.
or more.
Yeah.
So how someone like me is telling me I'm Algerian person, Algeria just came way after me. That doesn't make any sense. So the point here is, you're a person, hopefully you have a sound reasoning. You should not be supporting someone like Tommy Robinson because he's a person, he's a liar. I'm not going to say whatever he says is falsehood. Yes, some
And
points
I
he
won't
has.
say whatever he says is truth.
No, you don't even support someone like him, to be honest. Regardless,
You see,
doesn't mean
life is more nuanced than that. That's what I keep
No,
my
no, no, no,
mantra.
no, no, no.
You can agree with someone on one point and disagree with them on another
But you
point.
will not support
We
him.
can agree on
But you
some
won't
stuff.
support
We
him.
you will
can
not support him and
disagree
promote
on
him.
other
No,
support
stuff.
him.
what I'm saying, Steve, yeah, you will
What
not
does that
support.
mean? What does that mean?
You will not
can
support
support
him or promote him. You don't promote someone like that. For example,
You wanted me to promote you in the pub with Richard
I didn't say
Inman.
that. No, he was talking. I said that.
No. All you had to do You don't even have to mention names. All you had to do is say, you know what, there are Muslims that do it. All you had to do is for the Muslims, just say, yeah, there are Muslims that do it. You don't need to mention any names. There are Muslims that do it. Just speak the truth. That's all we ask. That's fair enough.
Be honest, because yes, we agree in some points he mentioned, but I'm not going to promote him. Like for example, what's his name? Ajam Chowdhury. Ajam Chowdhury is an evil man, but not everything he says is false and is a lie.
He says pray 5 times a day.
Doesn't mean I'm going to promote him because I agree with him in some aspects. You see what I'm saying? So be consistent, bro. You're silent. I like it. This is the first time I see you silent.
Wow. Let's go before you start speaking. Let's go.
Bye. Anyway, man, like guide you to the truth. Do you believe in God, by the way?
Yeah, you know I don't. Surely you know I don't. I think
We
Christianity.
can have this one off camera. We can have this one off camera.
No. Let's do it on camera. Look, I've said so many times, and I'm sure I've said it on camera as well. What I have to keep telling myself is that many of the Muslims that come to Speaker's Corner do not represent Islam. They do not represent humanity. They don't represent anything. Because there are some very, and have been, some incredibly bad representatives of
I agree,
Islam.
but not many. I don't say many.
Really?
Yeah, I don't say about many.
Well, we might disagree on numbers.
Yeah,
but
maybe,
we disagree
but
on
I agree.
Islam.
There's some of them, even they don't like me, even they believe. They believe I work for CIA. They believe I work for CIA.
No, I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
And they probably hate you more than they hate me.
Yeah. You know.
Then again, I'll give credit where it's due. You do that. You do that. You call them out. I'm not sure if you.
But I work for Allah.
I'm not sure if you always name
Allah.
names though when you do that.
Huh?
I'm not sure if you always name names. I don't know.
I do
Maybe you
mention names when it's needed.
No, I
mention
mentioned
the names.
some names now.
I don't need to use.
You see, there is.
No. Check the record. Check. No. Check the record.
Wait. Are you gonna? No.
Who have you called out?
No.
Who have you called out?
I'm trying to fight you about.
Have you called out? Have you called out dick pic? Taweed. Have you called him?
Listen. If it comes,
come on, let's
no.
be
If you're talking about extremism, extremism is one thing. As for any immorality,
extremism and then bad behaviour.
Yeah, bad behaviour.
Yeah.
We ask. We're not going to bring out any allegations that anyone said. We're not going to.
Okay, well let's focus on the extremism.
No, before
That's
that,
all out
the extremism.
No, before that, are you going to put out on Tommy Robinson?
I've said my piece already on that.
No, I heard this.
I don't hero worship him. I don't think everything that comes out of his mouth is right or good or even sensible.
That's the word you use, sensible.
Yeah.
You said
good, right, sensible.
Yeah. Earlier, I was looking for a word. You said sensible.
You're coming to the wrong guy.
Hang on. When you say that Muslims up and down the country would feel the brunt if there's any other.
Said that.
He said that in Tower Hamlets. Yeah. If he said that, Steve. Yeah. If he said that.
He did say that.
Yeah.
Or something close to that.
Would you if there's one more attack,
attack,
if there's another attack in UK, Muslims up and down the country would bear the brunt of evil.
Man.
Yeah, I'm saying he's extreme. You're saying it's not sensible.
Is it extreme?
Wow.
Imagine
Imagine if we said Anjam Chowdhury, he's not extreme, but he's just not sensible.
Yeah.
No, we call him both out. He's extreme and he's extreme.
Yeah. There were these guys that go after Mansour and
Yeah.
Hashim,
Yeah.
even though Mansour and Hashim condemn terrorism, but they still try to go after them. But you are here, but try to defend and justify Tommy Robinson, who is an extremist.
Just drop him. He's job.
You are all obsessed with him, aren't you?
I'm not obsessed. I'm married. I have my brothers here, my Muslim brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask you a question?
Anyway.
You're married and you have kids. How do you get away with staying here all day on a Sunday?
Come on, this is...
No, this is you need a lesson for this one. This is a lesson. You need a lesson. You need to come to the lesson to learn this one.
Come to the lesson to learn. Why? Are you getting lashes for that?
Hey?
Are you getting lashes
As
for
you get
that?
domestic violence at home.
Anyway, alhamdulillah. May Allah guide you. Pray to Allah guide you.
This is this one.
May he
There you go, Steve-O.